This is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the THT podcast. And everyone knows, if you're listening, that I'm a bad boy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. THTpodcast.com. It is Tuesday. You can check us out at mixler.com/THTpodcast. And we have one more guest for tonight. We got the Zebra Kid, a.k.a. the bad boy, Joey Janela. He's worked from everywhere, from House of Glory, On Point Wrestling. Recently, he's been in CZW, Pro Wrestling Syndicate, Jersey Championship Wrestling, Jersey All-Pro, and this Saturday he's actually going to be at the Rahway Rec Center for Jersey All-Pro, and he's going to be against Steve Scott, I believe, right?
It's going to be a three-way match between Bandito Jr. and Steve Scott, but Steve Scott's got a little bit of a injury going on right now, so I don't know if he's going to be able to make it.
Gotcha. I hear that. Well, who have you been trained by, first and foremost?
It's kind of a weird story. When I first got in the wrestling business, I knew I had a mutual friend who wrestled for National Wrestling Superstars, which was this little traveling carny independent promotion in New Jersey. There's a lot of ticket sellers. There's some journeymen in there, and they'd always have the big name, either the name from the '80s, the Tito Santana's, the Greg the Hammers, the Brutus Barbers, or somebody fresh off the TV. I kind of started with them. I kind of started at 15 years old, setting up rings for their shows. And when I set up the ring, took down the ring, before the show, I would get a little bit of in-ring time with some of the vets and some guys that, said they're vets, but, in reality, they're just the shits. So kind of I had to teach myself and show by show, match by match, basically train myself to, get the gist of things.
Yeah, definitely. You've actually been blowing up the last year, I would say, definitely. Seen you at CZ. Actually, I was at CZW 16 when you faced Sozio.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah, definitely. That was one of the best matches of the night. And best of the best. Let's talk about that for a second, because that's hands down one of CZW's biggest shows that I like. Best of the best. Are you gonna win it, man? Or do you have what it takes to win best of the best?
I think right now, at the rate I'm going, I have what it takes to win best of the best. But there's a lot of other hungry guys in that tournament. There's a lot of guys in that tournament that deserve, to advance in best of the best and win best of the best. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to find out and see. But growing up being an independent wrestling fan in New Jersey, Philadelphia area, New York, I followed CZW heavily. I would go to all their shows. And one of the biggest shows of the year, of course, best of the best, So to be in best of the best and see who has competed in best of the best is just an honor for me. It's just a great privilege.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, man. I mean, we've seen you be in the ring with pretty much everybody now. Some of my favorites like Facade, Alex Reynolds. Actually, Alex Reynolds, he was at House of Hardcore, and he was in the Mikey Whipwreck tour, which was awesome. Another guy, Tony Nese, that you work with, which is one of the best guys on the indies. Kevin Matthews, even Samurai Del Sol, NXT's Kalisto now. AR Fox, who's one of a couple guys that you really enjoyed working with.
I really enjoyed working with in the last year Joe Gacy a lot.
Yeah.
That's somebody who started around the same time as me. We kind of had different paths to where we're at now, but we've been working a lot together at CZW Dojo Wars. We had a killer match at On Point Wrestling. I really enjoy the difference in our styles and the way we do things in the ring. Chris Dickinson, the guest before me, I really like working with him. His style is just so unorthodox to anything I've ever been in the ring with. And when I first started kind of feuding with him at Jersey Championship Wrestling, he's kind of intimidating because he's kind of just he gets in that character, he gets in that mode, and you don't know what's real and what's not real, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And you guys know that by kind of the controversy he's stirred up in the last couple of weeks.
Definitely.
He's just one of those guys. He's just an enigma in the wrestling independents right now. You call him controversial. I call him smart. A lot of people call him a bunch of different things. In my opinion, he's smart.
No, absolutely. He definitely capitalized on the opportunity, and he's making a name for himself. I honestly, I thought there was nothing wrong with the angle, but that actually segues us into the next question. What did you think of that angle, and where do you stand as far as as far as morals go? I saw nothing wrong with it. It's professional wrestling.
I thought it was great. As soon as I seen it, I knew it was going to blow up and be something big, because it's just so different and so ridiculous, and I watched it, and if you watch my matches with Chris Dickinson at Dirty Championship Wrestling last year, you'd be like, the beatings I've taken on the hands of Chris Dickinson are pretty brutal in terms of professional wrestling. It's more like no rules fist fight, but I didn't see anything. I didn't, people are just, it's 2015, wrestling's PG now, it's the days of ECW, the days of shoot angles, like the shoot angle with in the 80s, Ric Flair and Terry Funk, when Terry Funk put the plastic bag over Flair's face. I think that was the angle, and simulated a suffocation. I knew that was quite the uproar, but it also, when the blow-off came between Funk and Flair, in the I Quit match, the blow-off and the buy rate and the money was there. So I see nothing wrong with it, but a lot of people, they're just, I don't know what to say, it's just, I guess it's 2015.
Boxman, you got a question?
Things have changed.
Yeah, it's a nice PC world we live in now, so... but yeah, I had a question. I was going to ask you about working with Trent Acid in 2010. How was he to work with? Do you guys have any kind of relationship out of the ring and all that stuff? When I was 15, when I got in the business, Trent Acid was somebody that Joe Panzerino, who's the owner of Dapper, they call him, was the owner of NWS. He would bring in Trent Acid to wrestle the names that are fresh off TV, or had that one good match on a card full of shit matches, because Trent Acid, he always delivered. So, being the wrestling fan I was, and fan of the Backstreet Boys and Trent Acid, I just kind of like was up his ass from the get-go, followed him around and trying to be cool and hang out with Trent Acid. And it's just such a shame the way things happened. When I wrestled him, what year was that? 2010.
Yeah, 2010. When I wrestled him, that's when he first got out of jail.
Right.
He wrestled. I wrestled it. He was 100% sober. 100% sober. Mm-hmm. He wasn't on anything at the time. So, you could tell when Trent Acid was on something, Trent Acid, because he had this raspy voice. Yeah. You knew he was on something. But when he was sober, he was a completely 100%, different person. So, getting to work with Trent Acid is by far one of my favorite independent wrestlers ever. Probably one of the reasons I'm in professional wrestling is guys like Trent Acid. So getting to work him that year was such an honor and such a privilege. And especially, it's a shame, it was one of his last matches, and I know he was trying to make a big comeback. But, I have friends that are drug addicts, one slip up and then you're back down that dark road. And, it's just such a shame, because that's somebody that should have been on TV. That's somebody that should have been on WrestleMania wrestling The Undertaker in a the streak match. You know, Trent Acid was that guy. You know, he exemplified independent wrestling and professional wrestling and how to steal a show and, you know, charisma. He had it all. It was just such a shame. And, you know, rest in peace, Trent Acid, you know. That's another big deal. Why Best of the Best is a big deal for me, you know. You know, Trent Acid kind of, you know, he kind of made that tournament. You know, at the early years of Best of the Best, he was kind of the guy. So it's kind of still, that's kind of a big reason, big deal that it's such an honor for me to be in this tournament.
Yeah, we actually had Masada on the show last week, and he spoke very highly of Trent Acid as well. And you know me, I'm from Philly, so I watched him in CZW, all the local shows. Even 3PW, he was doing some stuff over there after ECW.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a very nice guy. I actually got to meet him a couple times. Very nice guy. It was definitely
on drugs or not on drugs. He was a great guy.
Yeah,
he was real. He wasn't fake. He was real. He was a real fucking dude, and that's something you don't come across on much of the independents. Is real people, you know, that speak their minds and don't fucking stab people in the back. You know, Trent Acid was as real as they come.
Yeah. Now, speaking of real people, you actually been around Dan Moff, one half of with Monster Mac. They've been all over the indies, and you know they've pretty much done it all as far as PWS, Jersey All Pro, and you've been in the locker room with them. And I've met them when I was much younger, and those guys, they're no bullshit type of guys, straightforward and just awesome guys. So I just want to get your thoughts on them and sharing a locker room with guys like that.
I've wrestled Moss at PWS. I've wrestled months back at JCW. You know, they were the big heavy hitting tag team of the 2000s. You know, the Hit Squad. You know, and you know, Monster Mac, he's on our roster now at JCW every show, so, you know, he's always a great person to be around. Dan Moff, we really don't speak much anymore, ever since my falling out with PWS.
Right. Because,
you know, he's I wouldn't say he's part of the office there, but he's one of the trainers. He's one of the top dogs there, you know.
Right.
I know he has some kind of saying what goes on over there, and he can put people in their place. No one will give him anything for it. So I had such a opinion on PWS that, you know, kind of, I guess the common belief over there with a lot of people is don't really communicate with me because I speak my mind, and that's how I am. You know, that's just how it is. But when I was there, you know, Moff was cool. You know, good for him, you know, because I know he had something that happened to him in the early 2000s, and he left the business. And, you know, he could have been one of those guys. He could have been in TNA with Homicide, or maybe he could have been in WWE if that situation never happened.
Right.
But he came back, and I guess he's having a good time. He's having fun with it. He's helping train some of the guys, I guess, at the PWS schools. So good for him. He's just someone that loves professional wrestling. You could just tell.
Yeah. Now, before your departure from Pro Wrestling Syndicate, you were playing the Starman character. How was it playing the gimmick, and did you like being under the whole outfit, or do you prefer to be without the mask?
I ran with it. I like the Starman character because I like characters. I am a character wrestler. Whatever gimmick you put me in, I'll do 100% to the fullest and make it as over as I possibly can. But me, I'd say, I don't know. You know, I like being me. You know, I like being Joey Janela, you know. I get to do what I want with myself because it is myself, you know. Being under a mask, being under a hood, and a full-body jumpsuit, you know, you can't really cut promos, you can't really talk, you can't do this, you can't do that. So it's kind of different, you know. Yeah. But I like being myself. I love being Starman as well, you know. I made a little bit of money selling T-shirts and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But But, you know, it is what it is, and that's it.
Boxman, you got a question?
Yeah, on that Starman thing, were you the one that was dressed as Starman and got thrown out of the Raw that one night?
Yeah, that was me. That
Was
was all
it
my
really?
idea.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the original plan was it was going to Ziggler. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was going to Ziggler Daniel Bryan match.
Uh-huh.
Kane was at ringside with Daniel Bryan because they were doing their tag team gimmick. So I found perfect opportunity to sneak down, and I was going to do a little Starman dance down Kane, who was standing ringside, because I kept on shooting back and forth to him. But before I can even get down, massive chants erupted, and the rest is history. And I was ejected out of that building that night. But you know, during that match on TV, clear as day, you could hear these chants.
Oh yeah.
But at the time, that was definitely the most publicity PWS has gotten to that point. It was because of that situation that night. So it was on every wrestling website in the world the next day.
Mm-hmm.
It was even on Kotaku, which was the top video game site. It was a covered story next day. So it just like kind of spread like wildfire. It was kind of ridiculous. Definitely the most exposure they got at that point. And it was just, you know, it was just wacky situation, I guess.
That was awesome.
I still remember when it happened, so it's stuck in my mind too.
There you go. Now you've definitely worked with a wide variety of guys, even hardcore guys like Necro Butcher. That's one of my favorite matches of yours. Doing that whole dive, but guys like Matt Tremont, who was actually one of the first guests on the show. Do you like working in the hardcore matches, or do you prefer just doing the regular matches?
I like wrestling the hardcore matches. You know, I was a big fan of ECW growing up. I was a big fan of FMW in Japan, Big Japan Wrestling. If you asked me 5 years ago, if you asked me if I would do a death match, I'd say absolutely. But right now, I don't see it happening. Maybe in a rare case it might happen one day, but who knows? But I do enjoy wrestling in hardcore brawl fight situations. Feel like in those cases, you know, I kind of have no. I have for my body, I have no regards for my own well-being. So certainly the fans are to get their money's worth, and I'll be laid out in my bed the next morning for the rest of the day. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it to a point, you know.
Yeah.
If you asked me the day after a hardcore match if I enjoyed being in a hardcore match, I'd probably tell you different.
Yeah, you probably regret it.
Yes, so it is what it is.
I like how you read my mind, man. Now we're going to segue right into FMW because you just mentioned FMW. Now, JCW, what I like about Jersey Championship Wrestling is they bring in people that we haven't seen for years. For example, they brought in Leatherface and guys like Headhunters.
But the thing with Leatherface is we were supposed to bring in Leatherface. The original Leatherface, not the fake PWS bullshit Leatherface.
Yeah.
That's the actual Leatherface. And apparently I think he got locked up.
Oh, man.
Right before he was supposed to.
That explains a lot because I've been looking for that DVD and I couldn't find the Matt Tremont and Leatherface match for the life.
Yeah, I know Matt Tremont was very disappointed because he's deathmatch historian to the core. So
right.
when they told him he was wrestling Leatherface, he was like, so he's probably still pretty upset about that never happening. But it never happened. I guess he got locked up. That's the story I heard.
Yeah, I'll have
because
to ask.
I know he was local. He just moved to Philadelphia, and it wasn't Corporal Kirshner Leatherface, but after Corporal Kirshner, it was one of the other Leatherface.
Like super
He
super
did it
leather.
for a year or two.
Yeah, super leather, I think it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're correct.
Yeah. What about the Headhunters? Did you get to meet them?
The Headhunters, that was another situation, but we're bringing in the Headhunters for the Tag Team J Cup this year. They will be in the tournament. They will legit be there. The reason that when we advertised that Headhunters for that show in Passaic, I think it was September, was the show got canceled. So there goes that whole show. But the Headhunters will be at the Tag Team Jacob. It will 100% be there, and I guarantee you will see a moonsault or two.
Definitely. I'll actually be at that show, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people are going to be at that show, so if you're listening and, check out JCW Wrestling and look at that card, I would get your tickets as soon as possible because that show is probably going to sell out.
Yeah, definitely. Boxman, you got a last question?
Yeah. Hey, I was a big Jersey Shore fan, and I wanted to know, how did you get into the Jersey Shore house to do that promo, and how Robbie E was to work with?
I never got to work with Robbie. I worked with Robbie E when I was younger, before he was Robbie E. But that match never happened because I think he had a TNA pulled him because he had an obligation with them for a house show. But the promo's still there. How we got in, me and David Adams, one summer we just decided to go drive down the seaside, just get drunk all night, and I think it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was still pretty intoxicated and knocked on their Jersey Shore house. I knocked on their door, and they're doing like tours of the house for like a set price. I told them I was a professional wrestler and who I was wrestling, and they said, "Yeah, sure, you can do whatever you want." So,
awesome.
Let me cut a promo in there, and I got to put the duck phone in my mouth, which is pretty gross, but it made for good YouTube promo at the time.
Awesome.
I can only imagine where that's been.
Oh.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to know. If you never watched the show, you don't need to then.
That's probably why I have syphilis right now.
You should be lucky that's all you got,
God
maybe.
Damn. All right, well, last question before we do the plugs. I saw the promo that you did with Scott Hall and Sean Waltman, and you actually got to work with Sean Waltman in the ring. How was it, seeing those guys? I mean, that's got to be awesome being a wrestling fan as you are.
Yeah, man, it's pretty awesome getting to chill with Sean Waltman. I got to drive the shows with him and Scott. I got to drive the shows with both of them, pick their brains, and then get to be in matches or angles with them on the show. So it was just like a learning experience the whole weekend with those guys because, when it comes to wrestling, there ain't no, like, Sean will walk into a Wawa and people still come up to him and ask him to take a picture. That's how much of a dent X-Pac has left in professional wrestling. Same thing with Scott. Scott walks somewhere and they know it's Scott Hall. That's Scott Hall. That's Razor Ramon. Those are two of the most recognizable wrestling characters or personas in the history of professional wrestling. And, they've been everywhere. They've done everything. So, to pick those guys' brains and, for them to watch my matches and give me critique and good words is just great. It's just everything I ever dreamed of when I got into the professional wrestling business.
Awesome. Well, we've definitely been enjoying your work over the last couple of months that I've got introduced to you. And looking forward to your future, CZW matches, Jersey Championship Wrestling matches, Jersey All-Pro. And actually this weekend, once again, you'll be at Jersey All-Pro this Saturday.
And on Friday, I'll be at ICW in Queens, New York. I'm wrestling Trevor Lee this Friday night. So that's kind of a big match because he's kind of, right now, he's kind of like the California guy, but even though he's a North Carolina guy, he's kind of like the Cali PWG, smart, rising star. I'm kind of my own rising star over here, so it's kind of like a dream match for some fans. I'm not blowing up my head at all, but it is. I've heard it from fans. Fans told me. So I'm going to try to give you my money's worth. Your money's worth.
East versus West Coast, right?
Yeah, but he's Carolina, so it's basically East Coast versus East Coast, but we'll just say it's East Coast versus West Coast just because I enjoyed the Tupac Biggie Shoot so much.
There you go, man. Just don't kill each other, you know.
Yeah.
No. That won't happen.
Well, you want to plug your Twitter as well?
Yeah, my Twitter is Janela Baby on Twitter, Janela baby, like a little baby boy, and yeah, that's my Twitter.
There you go. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely looking forward to.
Can I give some plugs to other promotions and whatnot?
Yeah, go ahead, man. The stage is all yours.
JCW Pro Wrestling, check out them. Jersey All Pro, of course, check out them. On Point Wrestling, check out them. House of Glory, check out them. Check out ICW this Friday, me and Trevor Lee. Man, I wrestle all over the place, so I forget, like, and Combat Zone Dojo Wars. Check out that on YouTube, because that's where CCW is picking up new crop, new generation of Combat Zone guys. Check that out, and I'll be back for CCW at Best of the Best. What else do I wrestle? I wrestle kind of all over the place. I'm trying to think. Don't check out PWS, because fuck them. I'm sorry. But that's just my personal opinion. They're fucking weasels. And they can suck my nuts, King Tut.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
A little shooting right now, a little shooting range.
Yeah, that's what this is for, man.
It's just, I wouldn't shoot on that, but I watched her TV show last night, and it was such a pile of shit. I wanted to fucking jump off the George Washington Bridge. But that's a story for a different day.
Okay.
Well, whenever you want to elaborate on it, man, this is the platform. You're always welcome to come back.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't feel like shooting too much tonight, so trying to spread the good positive vibes, not the bad vibes.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. Well, hey, appreciate you coming on. Joey Janela, check him out. ICW this Friday. Jersey All Pro this Saturday.
And then on the 28th, JCW, TLC, Beavers, Devon Storm. Tables, ladders, and chairs. And that's in Hasbrook Heights. It's about 10 minutes from Manhattan. So, easy drive for the New York's peoples.
There you go. All the New Yorkers, get out there. Him and Devon Storm. Devon Storm can still go. I was watching him in Extreme Rising. He can still go. That guy is phenomenal.
Yeah, check out my match with him on YouTube. It's we upload the full match. It's 32 minutes of goodness.
Damn, that is a long match. Well,
once again, so it shows you. We can go.
Yeah, you can go, man. I know you can go. I've seen you live.
Not me, him.
No, both of you can go. Shit.
Well, everyone knows I can go. I'm kind of the guy who steals the show every night, and it pisses off everyone else.
There you go, man. You're like the Ziggler on the Indies, right?
Well, that's what Good Boy's saying, so I'll ride with it. He's a good-looking chap. Probably gets a lot of bitches.
There you go, man. And that's what I like, man. He's living the wrestling life, you know? He's like an old-school wrestler. I see you still wearing the Zubas. You're still going out partying. You're not playing fucking...
Yeah, partying. I don't do any drugs. I'm pretty much straight edge when it comes to drugs, but I've kind of cut down my drinking a lot. Like, if you see me a year before, like maybe 2 years ago, you'd be like, this dude's fucking on the brink of disaster.
Wow.
But I drink a couple beers a week. But hookers are always on my menu.
Oh, man. Goddamn. I guess that's a good way to end the interview then. Well, once again, man, Joey Janela, appreciate you coming on the show. Whenever you want to do some plugs, whenever you have some future shows you want to plug, always welcome to come back.
Yeah, just call me. I'll come out again, and if you guys want to do longer interview and you guys want to hear me bullshit a little bit more and talk a little bit more shit, just let me know, because I'm not afraid to do it, man. I don't care.
Absolutely, man. We're definitely going to make it happen. But, appreciate you coming on, man. Have a good one.
See you, dogs.
Yeah, actually, hold on.
This is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the THT podcasts. And everyone knows, if you're listening, that I'm a bad